What's going on, people? This is the MMA Complex. My name is Josh.
And I'm James.
It's a brand new episode. It's episode 150. It is March what is it? 19th, 2019?
2019. Around 19th involved.
Yeah. Brand new episode back. It's glad to be here. We have a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. This past weekend is UFC London. We're going to recap that. We're going to look ahead at Thompson versus Pettis this weekend and take a look at one FC, one championships upcoming card this weekend, which features Demetrius Johnson, Eddie Alvarez, Angela Lee, and also the Gary Tonin. It's a stat card for one FC this weekend, or one championship.
I can't really see the card.
Yeah, and it's that one's actually free on their app. So we'll break down all those fights and more. But what's going on, man? How's everything? What's going on?
Good. You know,
We just finished dinner. We just finished eating right now. Huh? Stuff in our faces.
Yeah, it was delicious. On the way to the studio, I was thinking like, I don't think we had a time in the show's history where, I mean, besides the first year, of course, but
yeah,
we've been like brushing out shows every week. Like, usually we skip a couple of weeks here and there, but we've been on it for every week. We've been actually, we've been doing pretty good on a roll for 2019 for sure. I was thinking about that on the way over here. I said, man, like we've been really
being consistent
and committed to the cause.
Yeah, I look forward to just coming in here and chatting and just talking about fights. You know, just like
it's a
weekly thing. I like it. It's a change up for like just a normal day.
Yeah, shit. We both have our individual lives, so
yeah.
But you know, MMA, talking about MMA or just hanging out kind of takes away from the stress of work and life.
Yeah. This past weekend, what did you do? You had a birthday party to go to, right?
Party, and then stayed home. Since I'm going to Canada and Seattle, we don't really spend that much money.
You're going in what, June?
July? Yeah. So like we don't. Everything's pretty much on a card. We're just paying off that card.
Yeah.
So we're almost done. So just to save money, we don't eat expensive. We just kind of keep it low cost.
Yeah, maybe one expensive day out of the month. Maybe.
No, not at all. No. I think the most we spend on each other for two people is $20.
Damn, really?
Yeah. Yeah. We go like Subway and very cool ones and
shit.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And she's okay with that?
That was her idea.
Oh, it was her idea.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I didn't come. I said I was okay with like still spending, but she rather just like.
I'm sure you're happy with that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah. Although like, at this point of our relationship, we help each other out with costs. But yeah, it was her idea. Just because she wanted to pay everything off out of the way, so we could have extra cash for Seattle and Canada.
For Seattle, yeah, and it would just be all spending money. You have to worry about the actual trip cost itself.
And then she got I think a credit card with no international fee. So when we go to Canada, we won't get charged like a foreign or whatever fee.
International fees,
International fee,
yeah. That's cool. I don't think. Well, obviously, I don't have any trips planned, but that's pretty. You know, it must be. Is it tough? Not for you though, huh? Because you're not a big spender.
No, I don't.
Even on
myself, I don't like spending that much money. I don't know why. I hope at some point I can enjoy the money I make.
I couldn't get away with that.
Yeah,
even if I wanted to, I couldn't get away with that.
I mean, I give myself a budget like $20 a week.
Damn, really?
Yeah, and I do it.
Shit. Yeah, that's that's. I don't spend a whole lot on myself a week. I don't really. I mean, but we definitely spend more than that for sure. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the credit card I'm talking about it's an Amazon card.
Okay.
So she gets like free next day shipping, and I think they give her like $100 to spend on Amazon.
Yeah.
She got me like a cleaning kit for my record player.
Nice.
Something I've always wanted because it was making popping sounds. And I don't know what that was. It's the needle was like getting the dust from the record, so she got me this like elaborate clean kit.
And is it? Were you nervous to try the cleaning kit for the first time?
I watched a bunch of videos. There's like a microcarbon brush.
Yeah.
It's like a little. It almost looks like a harmonica almost, but it has like a brush, and then you just push the record player on, and as the record spins, you just lay the brush.
Yeah.
And then you push it back, and then the dust comes out, and you just do it again, and then like a little brush for the needle.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's
cool.
Expensive, but
yeah,
I didn't even ask for it. She just got it for me.
That's nice. This past weekend, I saw went to go see Action Bronson. He was in concert on Saturday. It was badass. It was awesome. Always a good show. This time around, he brought out like his entire crew was there. Like Big Body was there. Who else? They had Mayhem Loren, Rock Marciano. It's a bunch of. He had a couple openers, and then it was him. He played. I think we got in like around 8, around there, around 8, and then probably got out like around 11, 8:30, 11, 8:30 to around 11. We got out.
That's pretty good.
It wasn't bad. Got some tacos after, and picked up the baby, and then that was it.
Awesome. You know what? I wonder if his fans, or a lot of his fans, come from his show.
I don't know. My I know he's not like a big, huge name. You still have to like kind of remind certain people that don't really follow music all that much, and then some people like will only even know him from his show. Like my dad knows who he is, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go see Action Bronson." He's like, "Oh, who's that?" And then I show him a picture. He's like, "Oh, that's the guy from the cooking show, right?" And I'm like,
"Well, if you think about it, it's smart of him, because he obviously there's clips of his rapping on the show,
and the show's on Hulu too. It's like it's available on YouTube, Hulu.
So it hurts. I mean, it only helps the cause.
Yeah, it does. It does. He just came out with a cookbook. It's all like that infused, how to cook with weed and infuse it in there and all that. And the show is pretty packed, and and you would think hip hop, group hip hop like rap type of like concert. You think like there'll be a lot of like his audience is very diverse. I would just say that like my girl was all like, he just, there's not a whole lot, like it's a very diverse crowd. It's not like just one or the other. It's not like you go to hip hop, you expect all African American kind of black audience. Yeah. It's a very diverse audience. If anything, it's more of everything else than like black. To go into a hip hop concert with typically just all black people,
Yeah. Well, he caters to, his show caters to everybody.
Yeah, and it does, and you have like white, Asian, and Hispanic, black. It is a big mix of everything there. So it's
cool.
It's pretty crazy crowd, and you expect that from different. I kind of had it. I can expect that from different rap artists, but yeah, he's definitely one of those that brings out a diverse crowd. But it was a good show, man. It was a lot of weed smoke. A good show. They had some drinks were not overly priced. Some of their mixed drinks are like $10, and they had like a special one for that night. It was like a fuck that's delicious lemonade or something like that, and it was like it was pretty good. But the show was fun, man. I caught the fights earlier that day, so it was good. I'm liking the ESPN Plus and how the international events are like live. So I mean, for us over here, we have to be aware of it and the time difference, but it's nice. It's nice to have a couple of early fights. So I enjoy that.
Yeah. Obviously, I missed it. I think you reminded me that day.
Yeah, I reminded you.
And then it's cool about ESPN too. ESPN Plus that you can just watch the main event if you just want. And that's what I did. At the party, I went straight to the main event because it's broken up.
Yeah.
It's separated from the actual main card. And then when I got home, I just watched the rest of the card.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. I watched it. Most of it at home. Went to my dad's. He was having a party over there, and I put it on the TV. But yeah, no, I like because it frees up the night too. Like I didn't have to worry about it. I was thinking like, oh crap, I'm gonna go to the concert. I'm gonna have to like try to watch the phone while watch the fight while I'm at the concert on the way to the concert.
Just watch it afterwards, no?
Yeah, but I like to see it. I don't know. If I can see it live, I'm gonna watch it, even if it disrupts anything else I'm doing. Oh, okay. But it was an early fight. It was a 1:00 main card, and it was I enjoyed it. It freed up my night. I was like, it was awesome. Let's get right to that card though. It was in London, UFC London on UFC Fight Pass. I think it was number 5 on UFC Fight Pass.
I don't think they're numbering the ESPN Plus cards.
No, I think they are. They are. Yeah, there are 4 or 5. They're not putting a whole lot of stock onto it. They're not like the other ones, but they are adding numbers to it. This one I think was number 5, but it's UFC London, Jorge Masvidal versus Darren Till, very hyped main event. The undercard was decent. Some questionable decisions, some good fights here and there, but this was a top heavy card right here. This was like top 2, top 3 fights on the card. It was
I mean it was basically just European fighters and local fighters.
Yeah. But the card overall I enjoyed. I didn't watch too much of the undercard.
I didn't watch something on the undercard.
No, I watched maybe the first few before the main event, just because I was kind of like waking up. I was getting the baby ready and all that. Turn on the fights just to have it on. And then once the main card started, I was kind of ready to head out the door, but I caught a couple of those early main card fights. Enjoyed it, man. Let's get right to the main event, and we'll kind of look at the other cards. We'll break down the other fights. What did you? Did it go the way you expected? Obviously not, right? I think because we both picked Till.
Till. I don't know. I really thought that Till's size and his reach would give Masvidal trouble.
Yeah.
I just think that Till is kind of feeling the effect from his last fight. I think he's not completely over that fight. I think he seemed like he was kind of hesitant. He didn't seem like his usual self. I think Jorge fought a smart fight and pretty much, I wouldn't say dominated, but it was fairly dominant fight. Yeah, and he knocked him out cold.
Yeah,
I feel bad for Till. I think he should go to 170,
or
185. Sorry.
Yeah,
but I just think that I didn't feel bad because people are like throwing memes out against him and kind of like kicking him
while he's down. Yeah. Obviously that I was not surprised in terms of Jorge Masvidal winning. I think even when we're discussing the fights the previous week, I thought that he had opportunities to win the fight. I thought he was a more well-rounded fighter. The only disadvantages he had in the fight was the size difference and in the fact that Till can cut certain angles that were just going to be hard to deal with. But Jorge just was, he's just a veteran. He showed how much of a veteran he is. He went in there. He was able to mix up his striking the way he wanted to. He mixed it up with the takedowns, threatened takedown, and went in there, I think, with something to prove also. It wasn't like, even though he had all the pressure was on Till, which I think was a big factor in his psychology going into the fight, having to be coming off of a loss to Woodley, going into this fight, so much pressure, so many eyes on you in your hometown. It's definitely all the pressure was on Till. Masvidal's going in relaxed, super relaxed, had a year off, over a year plus off.
He has nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose, you know what I mean? He was, I think, ranked 11 at this point. Not because he's not good enough to be in the top 10. It's because he was just at the time off. He's been out for almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Not winning fights either.
No, and not necessarily losing all that bad either. I think the one fight, I think we'll get to his record in a little bit, but this fight, it showed the kind of fighter that Masvidal is. He's like his mentality is like a Diaz brother, but he's far more active. He's the type that you don't mess with, and we'll get to the post-fight stuff afterwards.
Yeah.
And his skill level is so high. It's just he's one of our favorite fighters to watch. I know we talked about it already. But he sometimes he doesn't push the gas. He doesn't like show up in fights, and he makes them too close sometimes. I think he's only been really outclassed in like the Wonder Boy fight. That was basically it. The other fights he's come close to. It could have gone his way if the judges would have sided with him.
Right.
This one he went in there guns blazing. I think towards the before he finished Till, like I was watching the fight and I could see him figuring out Till. And Till was kind of getting a little frustrated because anytime he would either stay on the outside or even on the inside, he was getting caught with something. Mm-hmm. And I think he was.
His speed was a factor in this fight.
Yeah, his speed and he kept getting caught with something, and I think he was starting to get hesitant, and there was before he can figure out what to do next, Masvidal switched it up, threw something that he wasn't expecting, that he couldn't have trained for, and he talked about this. He switched stances. Through the left, over like the hook, like the rushing hook of the left, and just knocked him out cold. And he's like, it's not, it wasn't Till's fault. He's like, I've never thrown that in a fight. There's no way he could have prepared for it. I went in there and just, and and it was a sick knockout. And I was like, and I was happy for Masvidal in a lot of ways. I felt bad for Till, being in all those eyes. It was almost like Alexander Gustafsson and when he was in Sweden. It was a lot like that,
Well, Till he was already unconscious before the first punch, yeah. Because Masvidal hit him twice.
Yeah. His
head bounced off the mat. Oh God.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting it. And that's to show you the experience of Masvidal. He knew what was working, and he went in there and he knew that if I try this, I knew that Till wasn't gonna be able to counter it too much because he wasn't gonna be able to expect it and that goes with experience. Mm-hmm. He's like, let me try this because I know he's not gonna be prepared for it.
Right.
And bam, and there you go. That's it. Where does okay? Let's start with Till. Where does Till go from here?
I think he should go to 180. I think getting knocked out twice in a row isn't a good thing, especially with guys.
First one was a submission, but he got cracked.
Cracked. Yeah. I think he should take some time off. Because fighters always come back too soon. Mm-hmm. I think he should take some time off. Still be active in the gym, but take time off, and then try a whole new life at 185.
Yeah. No,
I think 185 needs someone like him too.
I agree. I think it would eliminate the weight cut for him. Just get that out of his mind. He goes into a 185 weight class fresh. It's not like guys who have been at 170 haven't gotten beat before by 170ers and gone up and has huge success. Even the champion right now, Whitaker, he had a loss to Wonder Boy. I think it was like a TKO loss. But, that was at 170. He reinvents himself at 185, and now he's a champ. And it's not like it was an easier weight class. It's just, it's just you're a different fighter. You're able to, you're fresher, you're stronger, you're focused more on your skills than you are on the weight cut. And I think that's what Till can benefit from, And he's only lost twice in that division. Two tough veterans,
former champ.
A champ and a very, very crafty, tough veteran. So I mean, that's nothing to hang your hat on.
No, not
they're
at
bad
all.
losses, but I think he's young enough to reinvent himself and in a whole new weight class, and that'll be best for him
for sure.
Masvidal, where he goes from here, I would give him the Askren fight. I think now we could talk about the Leon Edwards incident in the back. And that could be the next fight. And Leon,
I think it should be that fight.
You think it should be that fight?
Just because the heat's there, and people, I think now are more interested in seeing that fight because of that backstage brawl.
Yeah, I would,
and give Kobe to Ben.
Yeah, I agree. It makes sense in terms of where they are in the rankings with Leon and Masvidal. Yeah, they're fairly similar in ranking, even though they're and. Masvidal's been there a lot longer.
Because
in the top
why
10.
would Ben fight someone lower than him in the ranking?
Well, Ben wants that fight.
Oh.
And if I was Masvidal, yeah, the heat's there with Edwards. It's there. Obviously, you guys have seen the incident already. The heat's there, but the name factor is not there. It doesn't really do a whole lot for Masvidal. If he wins, he kind of stays in the same place. If he loses, he gets pushed probably even further down. If he fights Askren, he got the biggest name in the division right now, the hottest name in the division right now, calling you out, wanting to fight. I think it's a very winnable fight for Masvidal. And you could benefit a lot from it. You already beat the number 3 guy. Why not beat the number 5 guy? I think Askren's ranked number 5 or 6, and the hottest name in the division, most high profile person. I think if I was Masvidal, I'll go Askren, and it even throws even more dirt on Leon Edwards. I'm not even gonna fight you. You're gonna stay at the bottom of the top 10.
Yeah.
I'm lower. I don't even need to acknowledge you. That's what I would go with. That's what I would go for Masvidal.
Yeah, and if he wins that Askren fight, he gets a title shot, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I think you could make a case for him to getting a title shot now because he beat the number 3 guy who just came off of a title loss.
Former champ.
Yeah, to the former champion. I mean, you can make a case for it. I mean, I would. It's not a strong case, but if you wanted to put him in there, and I don't think people would get upset.
No.
But I would go with Askren if I was Masvidal. Give me Askren. Summer, get International Fight Week. Give me Askren.
Oh God, that'd be badass.
That'd be badass. Give me some time to prepare for that guy. That'll be awesome. And then so that's the whole fight. Now, in terms of what happened with Leon Edwards and the outcome of that, it doesn't seem like there's going to be any repercussions for either two. I think Masvidal, even though he was the one who struck Leon Edwards and cut him, I think has a case in a way. He walked up to him with his hands behind his back. Security should have kept them separate anyway. And then in the video, Leon does pick up his hands right before Masvidal throws the punches, Masvidal's a smart guy. He's obviously been arrested by people, been arrested before, or been in some type of trouble because when Brett Okamoto,
he's hood.
Yeah, when Brett Okamoto was asking him the whole incident, he's like, I was scared for my life. I was threatening. He put his hands up, and I felt I was scared. I was truly scared for my life. Mm-hmm. I was just defending myself. I got kids and shit. What I mean? I got this smart guy, man. I was like, yeah. Even though for a damn certain he was not afraid, that he went in there knowing that there's a possibility he could throw hands.
Well, he also said that when someone raised their hands raised from them,
yeah. So I don't know.
I mean, it's the correct call. I mean, it wasn't a big deal.
It's not a big deal. I don't think a whole lot of people are calling for it. If anything, actually, has gotten a lot more buzz for both.
It's created buzz for that fight.
Yeah, for Masvidal. Best look for Masvidal. Yeah. There's a lot of options for him.
Yeah, he's sort of the baby face in that situation.
Yeah, for sure. I would go with, I like those outcomes for both fighters. I think Till 185, Masvidal, I'll give him Askren. I think I would like to see that in the future. But Till definitely fight not till maybe end of summer, maybe in the fall. Mm-hmm. So, in the main event and co-main event, you had Leon Edwards defeating Gunnar Nelson as a split decision. I think a lot of people felt like it was more of a clear win by Leon Edwards. The judges' calls of the night were a little sketchy. The referee calls of the night were a little sketchy, more than sketchy.
Yeah.
But Leon Edwards got the nod. Another big win coming off of beating Cowboy, then defeating Gunnar Nelson. And now that puts him in a really good spot. I don't see him getting the Masvidal fight. I see him. He wants that fight, but I don't know if that's going to happen for him. Dominic Reyes defeating Volkan Ozdemir. Split decision. Now, a lot of people felt that this was supposed to go the other way. I was watching it here and there. I had in my head not really watching it all that much, like every little punch and kick, Ozdemir got the one. Like I expected him to get the win. Like, and then when I heard them call for Dominic, I was like, oh, like okay, but not that it was like a bad, horrible robbery, but
yeah,
I think majority of the people out there felt like Ozdemir won that fight. I don't know if were you able to catch those fights?
I just watched the co-main event, the main event,
the co-main event, and main event. Okay, it was a close fight, but not a. I wouldn't have given it to Dominic Reyes. I don't think it was a total blowout, but it showed Ozdemir having the more of the fight IQ and being the veteran. It showed in that fight. Yeah, so I felt like Ozdemir got that win. Nathaniel Wood picking up a win over Jose Quinones. Claudio Silva, former guest on the show, Claudio Silva, defeating Danny Roberts via verbal submission armbar. Now, Danny Roberts said he did not submit. I think Claudio Silva didn't confirm that he submitted.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and I think even with the replay, you could see that there was no verbal submission. There was no tap out. The ref was just a horrible ref. Like even in that middle of the fight, there was something about I think Danny Roberts had his toe in the cage, and I think he was attempting to maybe push off from the cage, and the ref stopped the fight, warned Danny Roberts or Claudio Silva, I forgot which one, and then repositioned them and had them start again, and it was like it was like a what's going on here kind of moment. Where they could, I don't know. There's several moments in that fight where they could have the ref could have just shouted out a warning, please don't do that, instead of stopping the action and having to reset them back into that position. It was just a bad fight, bad ref call, and I felt bad for Danny Roberts, even though most likely he was probably going to lose by decision because Claudio Silva is, I think, on maybe a 14 fight win streak. He doesn't fight often, but when he does, he wins. And he's fighting tough guys like Danny Roberts, and he's picking up victories. And he probably would have lost via decision anyway, but he got out. He got in a card and armbar, and got out of that armbar. And right when he made it out of the armbar, the ref stopped the fight like halfway through the round. And it was just like horrible call, and he was obviously displeased with that decision. Jack Marksman defeating John Phillips. Diakese picking up a win over Joe Duffy in the undercard, and you had a pretty good solid fights on the undercard. Overall, I thought it was a really good card, a really good showing. And yeah, I love that. I love these ESPN cards; they're great, especially the early ones.
Yeah,
amazing. And now, on a side note, I do not want to see or hear like Brett Okamoto or anybody else on like ESPN or whatever. There's not a whole lot of them out there, but they are out there calling Jorge Masvidal George. Does that not annoy you as much as it does me?
No, it annoys me because it's a Latin name, and it's Latin. I mean, it's like anything else. People should do the correct,
pronounce it correctly, no,
or at least try.
Yeah, and now giving them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe Masvidal was like, yeah, just call me George or something like that. I doubt it. But
yeah,
I'm sure Brad Okamoto was like, may I just call you George? And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
I know why they kind of say Jorge.
Just call him Jorge. And most people, like Dan Hardy calls him Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah. It's not like, I mean, if people can pronounce Young Jacek,
yeah,
they can pronounce Jorge.
Yeah, but it's like it was annoying the hell out of me. I think it mostly coming from Brett Okamoto
because if his name was George, like it'll show as George.
Spelled differently. It's spelled like George. This is not George,
but it's Jorge.
Yeah, and it's not that hard. I think Bisping says Jorge. Everybody else says Jorge. There's a few people on ESPN. Brett Okamoto is the only person that's coming into mind right now, calling him George, and it annoyed the shit out of me. I was like, why the fuck are you just calling him? Why are you calling him George?
He kind of annoys me too.
But. Yeah, why are you calling him George? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
I don't know. That was just a side note. That was annoying. Before we get to the fight card, big news. We got to talk about the UFC signing an extended contract, a new contract with ESPN, an extended 7-year contract with ESPN, and now ESPN on included in that deal is ESPN's being the exclusive pay-per-view provider for the UFC. Now, I think they're still going to sell packages to bars and restaurants and people that like the big public outlets or whatever. But in order to buy a UFC pay-per-view, you got to go through ESPN or you got to go through ESPN Plus, and I think ESPN Plus is planning to put together a package where you could buy, where it comes with pay-per-views and it comes with ESPN Plus for the year. Now they're coming up with certain packages to get the bundled everything. They're gonna come up with bundles for that. What is your thought? What are your thoughts on that? Is it?
I mean, I think it's
hurt.
No, I mean
product. What does it do?
I think the pay-per-view model is dead. I think no one but UFC fans order it. I think the future is digital streaming. Yeah. I mean, everyone's coming with their own platform, and if you have someone like ESPN behind you, a big machine like ESPN, partnering with the biggest promotion, I think it's smart. I think it's smart for them for them to make this deal and to make it only exclusive for ESPN Plus subscribers. I think it's gonna, in a lot of ways, it's gonna up their subscriptions, but in a lot of ways, I think more people are gonna start stealing their product. Yeah. But either way, I think it's the way to go. I think streaming is obviously the future, and I think it's smart for the UFC. And I think having these bundle packages are even smarter. I think it's a great idea. I think people are gonna benefit from those bundles rather than just paying $5 a month.
Yeah, no, we do the $5 a month for this thing, for ESPN Plus, and I enjoy it as is. Do I need to buy the package for the pay-per-views? No, because it's just you don't nowadays. You really don't need to do that. Nah. I don't. I like it. I think it's good for the business. I think it'll help them, kind of be more visible, especially like seeing people that are on ESPN or ESPN Plus, that watch it. People watch it. It'll come across their eyes. They'll probably buy it. If they have ESPN Plus, they have the option to purchase that. I think it's good. I wonder how the fighters are going to make it from it. Are they going to really be able to benefit from it a whole lot?
They're going to benefit nothing.
So I'm wondering, like, when it comes to pay-per-view points, how does that happen? How does that work out when the champ is expecting pay-per-view points? Does that model still carry over?
Is it by subscriptions? I don't know. It's weird.
Now this is all up to the fighters, and this is the fighters' fault. If this was a unionized sport, like the NFL or the NBA, they would have a percentage of this. They would have a cut in this, but they don't, and that's their own fault.
And I'm sick and tired of hearing fighters complain.
Yeah,
they should just.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the fallout's going to be in the future from this. On the fighters' side, fan side, it's fine, it's good. Streaming's where it's at anyway. But on the fighters' side, I wonder how it's going to be on them and their paychecks, and that's time will tell.
I mean, for the cable companies, they suck. It sucks for them.
It sucks for the cable companies, but they're losing subscribers anyway. I think if it was unionized, they would have more of a say in what goes on here, but they don't. So whatever.
I don't think it's ever going to get unionized.
No, and whatever happens, and whatever cut they get from this new deal with ESPN is what the future is going to be. That's it for them, because they're not unionized, so they have no say in the matter, really. So it sucks for them, but hopefully it's not that bad, and they still benefit in some way from it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we wanted to touch on that. That was the big news of the week. Let's get to the fight picks, because we have a couple of good cards this weekend. You have Bellator 218, Sanchez versus Karakanian. Both former guests of the show. This is from Oklahoma, Thackerville, Oklahoma. Manuel Sanchez and Jorge Karakanian in the main event. That's Valentin Madevsky versus Linton Vassell. In the co-main event, Gerald Harris versus Antonelli Tukov, and also on the card, and Willie Levine versus Nobert Noveni. Not a bad card. This was from Oklahoma. Not a whole lot of buzz coming from this one, but good main event. Manuel Sanchez or Georgie Karakhanyan?
I'll go with Georgie.
Go with Georgie? That's an interesting one. I'll go with Manuel Sanchez. I think he needs to bounce back from that Pitbull loss. I didn't know that Georgie was actually still in Bellator. I thought he was going to KSW, but maybe he's doing both. I'm not sure what's going on with him. Obviously he's in Bellator, so LFA 62, that's on Access TV this weekend. KSW on DAZN. And UFC ESPN 6, Thompson versus Pettis is also this weekend. That card features J.J. Aldrich versus Macy Barber, and kicking off the main card. Frankie Saenz is on the card, and Alexis Davis is on the card. Angela Hill's on the card. Jennifer Maia, Marlon Vera. Those are all on the undercard. But J.J. Aldrich versus Macy Barber is kicking off the main card. Luis Pena versus Steven Peterson is also on the card, in the main card. Division Figueiredo versus Jose Farmiga is on the card. John McDessie versus Jesus Pinedo. And in the co-main event, Curtis Blades versus Justin Willis.
Gee, this card only like a main event card.
Yeah, right?
The fights are kind of lousy.
I know, right? But but you got some interesting people on there. You got Macy Barber. I'm curious to see how how her progression goes. McDessie's on the card. Jose Farmiga's on the card. But in the co-main event, Curtis Blades versus Justin Willis. Who you got? Two big boys.
I'm going to go to
Curtis. Two big heavyweights.
I'm going to go with Curtis.
Go to Curtis? I'm going to go Curtis Blades too. I think he needs to bounce back. I think he most likely will bounce back from the Ngannou loss. That was a devastating, horrible loss for him. Getting knocked down the first 30 seconds of the fight.
After flying all that way.
Flying all the way to China, and that would have been bad. I'm gonna go with Curtis Blades, and then Stephen Thompson versus Anthony Pettis in the main event.
I'm going to Thompson.
I'm gonna go with Thompson too. I think he's gonna outclass. I think he's gonna school Anthony Pettis. I really don't see Anthony Pettis having anything for Thompson.
I mean, they're both coming in with the same style of fighting, Taekwondo. But karate. I mean, but
Stephen Thompson,
he's just a bigger fighter, and I guess he can use his reach.
Bigger fighter. His footwork. I mean, Thompson's one of those guys that just is always in title contention and is tough for most guys in that division. He's like the Uriah Faber of the welterweight division. It's just, most guys find it very difficult to beat that guy.
Benavidez, yeah,
or Benavidez, somewhere in that line. I'd say he takes this. I say he almost does it easily.
I think he stops him before the second round.
Yeah, I think it would be an early stoppage. Anthony Pettis, I don't think he has it anymore. I really don't. I think he's been kind of coasting by for the past couple of years, just based on skill.
I completely agree.
But his just not the same guy anymore, and you could debate on why that is, but I just don't think the guy's the same guy in the last few years, and he's been hanging in there by a thread.
I agree.
So that's the card this weekend. Another UFC on ESPN Plus card. So we will catch you guys all next week. Go to the MMAcomplex.com to get everything on the MMA Complex, including our shirts, and everything's on there, all the info.
Yeah.
All that.
And follow us on social media. You can follow the show on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. All under the MMA Complex. You can follow us on Twitter, MMA Complex James, MMA Complex Josh. Fun fights this weekend. Can't wait to watch them. Can't wait to come back next week to talk all about it and break it all down for you guys. But until then, enjoy your week. Enjoy the fights.